Zach Wilson has been receiving a lot of criticism from fans for constantly being injured. Many had insanely high hopes for him, but now it seems like we never really get to see him. But Troy Aikman, a former quarterback and Super Bowl champion, has a few words of encouragement for the young player. Today, we'll be taking a look at that and some other related news. First off, why has Zach Wilson been getting so much criticism as of late? Zach Wilson was the second overall pick during the 2021 NFL Draft. He was picked up by the New York Jets, and the team had very high hopes for the then 22-year-old quarterback. His performance in college was nothing short of spectacular, and many hoped that he would repeat some of that success in the NFL as well. But things didn't really go exactly as planned. Wilson really struggled during his first season, and he became one of the few NFL quarterbacks to be intercepted in his first 5 starts. It really wasn't a smooth start for the young quarterback. During just the 7th week of the season, Wilson suffered a pretty bad knee injury, and now people weren't just calling him a bad player, they were also calling him fragile. Handle with care memes started to pop up on Twitter, and it seemed like everyone was simply picking on the new player. Overall, his stats for the 2021 season weren't great. He missed 4 games due to an injury, only completed 55% of his passes, and threw 11 interceptions when compared to only 9 touchdowns. He didn't really look like he was an asset to the team. In fact, according to a lot of fans, he was a curse. During the last 5 games of the 2021 season, the Jets lost all but 1, and much of the blame went to Wilson. Up next, here's what Troy Aikman had to say about Zach Wilson. Troy Aikman is undoubtedly a legend in the NFL. Many young players dream of having the kind of career that Aikman had, and he's also someone that Zach Wilson himself looked up to. In a recent interview, Troy Aikman had a few words to say about the struggling quarterback. He said that he likes Zach Wilson a lot from what he saw of him. He didn't really expect Zach to struggle as much as he did during his early months, but he still believes that Wilson can be a truly great player, among the best in the NFL in fact. Now, a lot of Wilson's critics were confused as to why the legend would defend Wilson so much, but what they fail to understand is that Aikman had a very similar career trajectory to Wilson. Aikman was the first pick of the 1989 draft. People had extremely high expectations of him. However, his first season was an outright disaster. His starting record for the Dallas Cowboys was 0-11, and he missed even more passes than Wilson did, with a 52% success rate. Similar to Wilson, Aikman also only scored 9 touchdowns in his debut season. Next, Aikman compares some of his struggles with Wilson. Since Aikman and Wilson had extremely similar debuts, Aikman felt very strongly about defending Wilson and his abilities. He said that he and Wilson struggled about as much as any quarterback in the history of the game. Not everyone can beat Tom Brady. It took Aikman about 2 years to finally figure things out and start putting out performance after performance. According to Aikman, fans simply don't give guys a grace period anymore. He said that now that they've seen a few rookies dominate during their first year, fans now expect everyone to be a perfect athlete right out of the box, when in reality, almost every athlete needs time to develop. Zach Wilson is only 23 years old right now, and many are already calling his career a colossal failure. He mentioned Ben Roethlisberger's rookie career as a factor in why fans think in the way they do right now. Ben Roethlisberger was 13-0 in his rookie year, and he was primarily the reason why the Pittsburgh Steelers won the Super Bowl that year. However, Wilson is likely not planning on winning any Super Bowls right now. He's currently in the process of healing after getting a knee surgery a few weeks ago, and this also means that Wilson will be missing the season opener for 2022. Coming up, the Jets say it's still possible that Wilson starts the season, even though officially, Zach Wilson will be missing the season opener for the New York Jets. The team is still hoping that the young quarterback will be better before then. The Jets are set to take on the Baltimore Ravens in their first game of the season, and a quarterback like Wilson is desperately missing from their team right now. This very well could have been the game where Wilson could finally prove himself. Wilson underwent successful surgery on August 16th, and the game is scheduled to take place on September 11th. This means that Wilson would have only had 26 days of rehab for his knee to finally heal from surgery. It just seems like an impossibility for now. However, you can't really underestimate NFL doctors and physical therapists. He's likely receiving some of the best care in the world, and we know for a fact that he has been training. As of right now, the Jets are still preparing for the game with the assumption that Wilson will be absent. But according to Coach Saleh, there's still a chance of Wilson playing, and they're ready for that scenario as well. Up next, what kind of injury did Wilson even suffer? Zach Wilson Wilson, so far, has suffered from 2 different injuries in his NFL career. His first injury was during Week 7 of the 2021 season, when Wilson was hit by Matthew Judon, injuring his knee. Although this injury wasn't really serious enough to require surgery, it did put him out of the NFL for a total of 4 weeks. To add to that, knee injuries are serious, regardless of how severe they may initially be. That's because this same injury can come back to haunt him one day as his knees are getting weaker and weaker. His second injury occurred during the 2022 preseason, and once again, it happened to his knee. This time, Zach suffered from a bruised knee bone and a meniscus tear. The latter part is the more troubling bit, because this required him to get meniscus surgery, which meant that a surgeon likely had to remove a part of his meniscus. That's the cartilage that connects the knee together, and it plays a vital role in keeping the knee healthy. Because of this surgery, it's very likely that Wilson will continue to have knee problems for the rest of his life. But the recovery time for surgery isn't really too severe, and since Wilson is still very young, it's possible that his knee problems might not last too long. Now, let's take a look at some other related news. First, Denzel Mims believes he's a true starter. Wide receiver Denzel Mims has been pretty frustrated with his team as of late. He has been the starter for the New York Jets, but he's only in that position as a backup. Mims believes that he can be a true starter, but it's very clear what the New York Jets really want. Because of this, Mims recently asked to be traded to another team. However, this might not be the end of Mims on the New York Jets after all. He recently said that he believes he can change the coach's mind on who the starter should be. Their minds are pretty made up, he added, but he believes there's a way for him to prove himself. The Jets have said they haven't really considered any trade offer, since they weren't the right value for a player of Mims' stature. It seems like the two parties are going to stay together for now. Up next, the Jets undergo a massive roster cut. The New York Jets recently finalized their 53-man roster, and this obviously meant that a lot of players had to be cut. Coach Salas said this was a very difficult job, since he had to go through so much lobbying and tape playing. Tony Adams and Zonovan Knight surprisingly survived the roster cut, which really makes you wonder what the Jets have in plan for them. Other players like Will Parks and Jason Pinnock lost their spot on the team. Saleh didn't want to let go of Adams, saying that just thinking about it made him sick. And finally, Sauce Gardner says he's a different rookie. Sauce Gardner is going to be the Week 1 starter for the New York Jets if Wilson isn't healed before then. The rookie cornerback was the 4th overall pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, and he claims that he's going to be a different kind of rookie. He said that he's a very serious football player, but at the same time, he knows how to have fun. When talking about the rookie wall that Wilson ran into last year, Gardner says there's no way he's going to face the same problems. He might just have a point if you look at his college career, where he didn't let a single touchdown pass at all. He could definitely be an asset. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think fans should cut Zach Wilson some slack? Let us know in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.